That expression came because in the 19th century, around the period of the Civil War, no one knew if you were in a coma whether you were alive or dead. There was uncertainty about that. And there were many new kinds of war injuries in the 19th century, and so people didn't know. If you were buried as dead, they were not sure if you were actually dead. So someone came up with a patent in which you could run a bell, a string rather, down into the coffin. A bell would hang at the head of the tombstone, and if you happened to wake up in your coffin, you would ring the bell. And that's where the expression "hell's bells" comes from. Why do I bring that up? Because this was a technology that existed in response to uncertainty about life, about what constitutes life, about whether we're alive or dead. And I maintain that the obsession with high tech today is in part a reflection of our uncertainty about what constitutes existence. We are trying to self-erase. We are trying to disappear ourselves. And I also noted when I was speaking with Oscar, we talked about East Germany, Stalin architecture. I was in East Germany in the early 90s, and I was driving around this little cardboard car with an East German. They had cardboard cars in East Germany. And the architecture was vast, it was immense, and they had lampposts that were like 2 stories high, and here we are in this tiny little car, and the boulevards were wide, and I said, I feel so tiny in this car. He said, that's the point. All of this architecture is meant to dwarf you. And, when I look at Facebooks, these little tiny faces one after another, it reminds me of the Stalin-esque effort to dwarf the individual, to subsume us into this mass increasingly that is, in my estimation, Orwellian. Right now, I believe that the flashpoint of our humanity is the war for the book. Are we going to let the book disappear? Are we going to let the libraries become entirely digitized? Are we going to move away from what the high-techers call bound dead trees? This is how they refer to books. Are we going to move away from bound dead trees, from books, into this exclusively digitized world? Or is there some kind of middle way that's possible? And lastly, I want to kind of note that I look at the condition of human society today. I'm 57 years old. That's not neither too old or too young. It's just somewhere past middle age. And I remember the world before high tech. And I remember youth before high tech. And I look at youth today. I have a 20-year-old daughter. I look at youth today, and I don't see what I remember as youth anymore. I see something else going on here. I don't know what it is. Maybe this is just simply the advance of age. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. But I see something other than what I identify as human and social and living occurring. I see youth, our youth, sitting in front of screens, in cafes, in offices, all over, sitting in front of screens, fixated on the screen. I see people standing in the streets, punching dials, staring at a screen. No one seems to be present in this haptic world of ours, in this physical realm. We seem to be losing the physical life. And for me, the book is a sacred embodiment of physical life. When I look at these books around us, each one of these represents a life to me, a living life. When I open the book, I'm in the presence of a voice, a living voice. And these books are side by side, each one dignified with their own kind of dignity, but on Kindle and such items, they have to jostle in this anonymous space, thousands upon thousands of little titles there, these texts, invisible somewhere. There's nothing that you open, there's nothing that you touch, there's nothing that you stain with your perspiration. There's just these words that you can delete, or someone else, as recently happened. I don't know if any of you heard about this, but recently Kindle decided to delete 2 books from everyone's Kindle. Amazon decided to delete 2 books from everyone's Kindle, and the 2 books, of course, were George Orwell's 1984 and Animal Farm. So On that note, I'd like to ask the panelists one by one, if you wouldn't mind, beginning with Oscar, to ask, is high tech destroying the book and book culture?